baby. So why don't you kill me? This is the Teen Man. It's okay to be a loser, baby. I lost my heart, lost my head, I lost my money, I lost my bed.
I'm a driver, I'm a winner. Things are gonna change, I can feel it. So you're
I'm the one, I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? Okay, love that song. So Tin Men, losers. What? What are we talking about here? This whole video is about heartbreak. Heartbreak. Sometimes you're gonna be a loser. You're gonna lose your heart. You're gonna lose your friends. You might lose your brain. You might lose functions of your body. You might lose your social standing, your money. Anyway, your stability. You may be a loser, but you know what? Losers can be kind of cool. Because the biggest loser I know was Jesus Christ. And then he overcame all the things that he lost. And that's pretty cool. So, why is it sometimes there's a pattern I've noticed in interviewing people, specifically, actually, that sometimes losing something, sometimes not getting what we want, and losing the thing that we very much want the most can be the greatest blessing. Now, what do I mean by that? With the Wizard of Oz, what is the one thing that Dorothy wants? She just wants to be comfortable. She just wants to go home. And what's the first thing that happens in the movie? There's a tornado, and it shakes up her world. It completely unstabilizes what she has. So she goes in search for home, for stability. Now, the four temperament types we've been talking about and how they relate to Christ. We have the guardians, the feet. That would be Dorothy. Think about her shoes. Why is it shoes? Because shoes show you the way home. Your feet know the way home. In anatomy, we're going to bring that up later. We've done some really fun experiments with dancing and just learning about, there's like a map on the bottom of your foot. Psych! It's really cool, and it totally relates to the guardian temperament. So anyway, Dorothy goes and looks for the one thing she wants the most, which is home stability. On the way, she finds, what's the first person she finds? She finds a lion. And what does he want? The lion wants to have courage again. He feels like he's lost his umph, his skill. That would represent the artisan temperament. So he joins her journey and he's like, let's go, yeah, I gotta find me some courage. Let's go to Oz, see if we can figure that out. Then they meet the Tin Man. He feels so cold inside. He feels like he doesn't have a heart. And he's looking for that. I'm gonna quick note on the Tin Man. Actually, we'll go back to him. Remind me. How can you remind me? This is a video. Please remind me. Okay, so anyway, the Tin Man's looking for the heart, and then the Scarecrow, he's looking for a brain. When he doesn't know how things work out, it's frustrating to him, and he wants his brain back. And a skill with that. Okay, so they're going on this journey, and they build this friendship. Okay, how does that, now let's go back to the Tin Man. How does that relate to heartbreak? We're going to highlight the Tin Man in this, and in some other videos we'll highlight these other characters and their needs. I wondered, I've just had this thought, Christ, side note, this is going to tie in. When I looked up Wizard of Oz and symbolism, because I had some ideas come to mind, but I'm like, I want to see what else is out there. There were like 12 different, just total random interpretations, all totally different. Like, one of them was like, this is a Christian story, and it all points to God, and how the Emerald City, I looked up emeralds, and they said that it's the Christ stone, because it represents renewable, like, green is like one of the most pure colors, because it represents all things coming into one, and being renewed, and the cycle starts over. And so, anyway, that was really interesting. And then there's a whole another one that was like, no, it's all about atheism. Like, when they unmask the wizard and realize he's just immortal. You know, like, there's then another one is more, so that's funny. So, like, the religion one, that would actually be more of an idealist idea. Then the atheism, that would be more of a rational one. That goes all about, like, rational thought, and this was this, and da da da. And then there's another one that's like, no, it's totally all about, like, the Jungian, like, types, and the ego, and the whatever, and anyway, some of that could kind of be somewhat artisan in some ways. And then there's another one that was like, no, it's actually exactly what was going on in the world at that time, in the 30s, 40s, and it was all political. It's totally political. This is blah, blah, blah. I was like, that is funny. That is funny. So what's true, right? And that one would kind of relate to, like, the guardian type mindset. And I always wondered, how do we know what's true? And two things I've learned. First one is, involve Jesus Christ. He is the ultimate epitome of truth. And if you haven't come to know that, I challenge you to have faith, to come to know it, or to believe on the testimony of other people that testify of Jesus Christ. That He is the source of all truth, and He can reconcile conflicting arguments and ideas, and He can make them work. That is the key. That's why they call Him the middle way, the iron rod is Christ. So find a way to involve Christ, and you'll start reading that, and you're like, they could all be true in some ways. But what is the ultimate, what is the most valuable thing to get from this story, right? That'd be the most important thing, I would think. And so the second one is pain. What do I mean by that? Well, takes the reason Jesus Christ has, again, we've said this in another video, the reason He has the right to all truth and to rule and explain it is He's the one who's gone through the most pain. So whenever we look for a quick fix and easy answer, it's not always the smartest thing to do, because truth is things as they really are. If we woke up and we looked outside and we were like, it's always going to be sunny. No, there's darkness, there's night, there's a moon. And you can turn all the lights on in your house as long as you want, but that's not going to make up for the fact that there is a nighttime. You have to be willing to look at the darkness too, to get the whole picture and really understand what truth is, right? So again, extremes in thinking never gives us the full truth, but to get a full picture, it takes an extra amount of patience and pain, and that's just how it is. So finding the truth, you got to be willing to endure some pain, to see it from a few different mindsets, and then ask Christ, ask for help to understand what's the most valuable, what's the main point. And that's, we're going to go in another video about how you can do that better. But anyways, going back to this, so I was looking through it, and I decided for this video, this is what I'm going to highlight in this story. I believe that if we want to obtain more, we have to be willing to be a loser, baby. We have to be willing to lose things. I think that God, I'm guessing here, but I've been seeing this in some really amazing people around me. Just ways they've been tried and overcome things, and blessings that they've gotten after. And for me, finding this evidence over and over and over again is really exciting. It gets me way excited and gives me courage to keep moving forward. So what is this pattern? Well, Christ was basically asked to give up all things, in the way that he suffered for all of our sins and for our pains and our afflictions and our joys. It's just amazing to even comprehend that he wanted to stoop so low to just understand. So he literally lost himself in loving us. But then, and then there was a moment, they say when he was doing the atonement in the Garden of Gethsemane, there's an angel helping him. But then there was a moment when God withdrew his spirit. So Christ didn't have help. And he says, Father, why have you forsaken me? This is so hard. Like, yeah, I'm already doing all this hard stuff, but really, now you're leaving? And they said the one reason he had to do that is that moment, the choice really had to be Christ's. Like, he had to have all stables, what's the word for that? All stints taken away, all supports taken away, and he had to make that choice on his own. So that way it could really be his choice. He was willing to go through that part alone and sacrifice everything. That would be hard. I had a thought. I was like, I wonder if some of the things that are the most valuable to us, if we seek to be like Christ, if we will not be tested at some point to see if we love God and our fellow men more than the thing that's the most treasured to us. Because those are the first 2 commandments, right? Love God with all your heart, and then love your neighbor as yourself. So we're going to be tested on both of them, and we just got to be ready for it. Would you lay down your life for your neighbor? Or do you value your own life more?